welcome to Vlogmas Day 8. One thing that you will learn about me, if you haven't already observed it, is that I am a very selectively type A person. So I really only apply my OCD tendencies, my type A-ness, to things that matter to me, that I feel deserve the type A-ness. In this case, this includes my entire bookish hobby, or all my bookish hobbies, because I have a million spreadsheets of my 2024 reads, my 2024, like 24 and 2024 challenge that I want to do, my 25, okay, and 2025 challenge, my A to Z challenge for 2025, my every book that I've read in 2025, 2026 releases, 26 and 2026, 2025 releases. I have a lot of spreadsheets. I have one for Vlogmas. I could go on and on. But anyway, I wanted to put one of my spreadsheets to use today, and we're going to talk about the releases that are coming out in 2026 that I'm looking forward to, that I've made note of, and that I have either pre-ordered or am planning on reading as soon as possible. I'm not sure how many I have here. Let's see. I think I have 19, and then there's 2 honorable mentions that don't have dates yet or synopses, but they have the title and I know generally when they're coming out. So we're just going to jump into it because there are quite a few books for us to get through, and I'm going to, like I said, read the synopses for you so that if you don't know about these books, you will now. But if they are part of a series where I feel that spoilers are potential, if it's like a romantasy series, I'm not going to read the synopsis. I'm going to skip those. I'll tell you what book in the series is coming out, and that's probably about it. And the release date, obviously. But I'm not going to do that. For interconnected standalones, I'm just going to read you the synopsis because it doesn't really matter what happened in the books prior. You don't have to read the books prior. But for the ones that it does matter, I'm going to leave those synopses out. Starting off with probably a hot take, we have Woman Down by Colleen Hoover. I haven't read a Coho book in quite some time. I do have several. They're right here behind me. She's where I refound my love for reading. I read Ugly Love, and it wasn't my favorite by any means. But then I kept reading her books. I don't know what my second one was, but I read It Ends With Us. I read Reminders of Him. I read All Your Perfects, November 9th, whatever. Confess. Regretting You. I read a lot of them. I did not read all of them. Verity. I loved Verity. But I haven't read one in a while. So this one's on my radar. I'm not really sure how much I care. But this is coming out on January 13th. So it's really pretty soon. We're just about a month away from that. And I think this is the first book she's put out in a while, but it's on my radar. So the synopsis. In this twisty thriller from New York Times bestselling author Colleen Hoover, a frustrated author looks for her muse in a remote hideaway, but what she finds defies all expectations and reality. Her words used to set the page on fire, but a viral backlash over her latest film adaptation forced Petra Rose to take a hiatus, resulting in missed deadlines and an overdue mortgage. Branded a fraud and fame-hungry opportunist, she learned the hard way what happens when the internet turns on you, and she's been uninspired to write ever since. Now, with her next suspense novel outlined and savings nearly gone, she retreats to a secluded lakeside cabin hoping to find inspiration. It's Petra's last-ditch attempt to save her career and herself. Then he shows up. Detective Nathaniel Saint arrives with disturbing news, his presence igniting a creativity in her she thought long since burned out. Petra's words return in a rush, and her fictional cop character begins to mirror the very real cop who's becoming her muse. Their research sessions blur the lines between fantasy and reality. Each glance, every touch, pulls Petra deeper into a world she thought she'd never lose herself in again. She's never felt more alive, but inspiration this powerful comes at a cost. When Saint starts taking his role in her career a little too seriously, Petra's forced to confront the chaos she created. But doing so could cost her more than the reputation she's been trying to salvage, the reputation the world wrote for her, the reputation only she can reclaim. So that was the first one. That one, I want to read Layla too. That's by Colleen Hoover. That's another one of her more suspensey thrillery ones. Maybe I'll read that sometime soon because I need a book that I can just binge real quick. But next we have If Only You Knew by Ellie K. Wilde. This is the 3rd book in the Oakwood Bay series, and I read the first 2 and love them both. So this one comes out on February 17th. In the highly anticipated final installment of the Oakwood Bay series, packed with sizzling tension, heat, and swoon-worthy moments, Peyton Corinne said that, childhood best friends Parker and Summer agree to matchmake each other to a disastrous result, all while fighting the fact that they've been each other's soulmate all along. Summer Prescott and Parker Woods have been best friends since they were 3 years old. Now 30, neither of them feels like they have a good handle on adulthood. While their friends are coupled and thriving, they're struggling through career crises and disastrous dates and frequenting the same old bars and surf spots they've been going to for years, until, on a whim, Summer decides to hand over her love life to Parker. After all, who better to help her find her soulmate than the person who knows her best? But when the date Parker introduces her to goes from husband material to dead end in one publicly humiliating swoop, Summer is so devastated that she breaks up with both men. And she decides to embrace a fresh start away from home by entering a surf competition that'll have her chasing waves around the world. Parker soon realizes the troubling truth. He's spent nearly 30 years by Summer's side and has only just realized that he's in love with her. Now he's on a mission to win back not just her trust, but her heart before she slips away for good. Sounds great. Sounds great. I'm excited. Okay, next we have And Now Back to You, which is the second book in the Heartstrings series by B.K. Borison. This comes out on February 24th. Okay, I'm having a hard time reading today, so I apologize for my stuttering and rereading. Two competing meteorologists are forced to find common ground in this opposites attract When Harry Met Sally inspired romance from New York Times bestselling author B.K. Borison. Jackson Clark and Delilah Stewart have had their fair share of run-ins over the years, often ending in disaster. While Jackson thrives on routine and organization from the comfort of his radio booth, Delilah loves the spontaneity and adventure out in the fields. When they're partnered against their will to cover a historic snowstorm, they find themselves scrambling to figure out how to work together. Eager to be taken seriously as a journalist, Delilah offers Jackson a deal. If he can help her ace this assignment, she'll help him rediscover his long-lost fun side. With unexplored chemistry burning beneath their clashes, the unlikely partnership quickly tumbles into an easy and surprising friendship. But when other feelings start to enter the equation, can Delilah and Jackson withstand the storm? I switched those two names, that's not how they're written here. Or does what happened to the mountains stay in the mountains? This one I liked. First Time Caller. Wasn't my favorite, but I did like it, so I'm excited for this one. And her little teasers have been exciting too. Then we have one I'm really excited for. In Her Own League by Liz Tom Ford is coming out on March 3rd. As the first female team owner in Major League Baseball, Reese Remington has spent her entire life preparing for this role. With a sharp mind and years of experience working behind the scenes, she's more than qualified. But the public only sees a woman in a man's world, not the person who's earned their place on the field. Under constant scrutiny and pressure to prove herself, Reese can't afford distractions, especially one that comes in the form of the team's tempting field manager who questions her every decision. Emmett Montgomery, Monty, is a former All-Star turned coach who treats his players like family and the field like home. After years of running the team his way, the last thing he wants is a new boss, let alone one who seems ice cold and laser focused on business. But forced to spend long hours in too many away games side by side, he begins to see the fire beneath Reese's control, the heart behind her ambition, and the unwavering determination to prove herself. When heated banter turns into sizzling chemistry, professional boundaries blur and the sparks between them become impossible to resist. But Reese is constantly reminded of how many people are waiting for her to fail, and the safest move is to keep Emmett at arm's length for the sake of the team, the season, and her career. But keeping their distance is one game neither of them can seem to win. Okay, this one I'm not going to read the synopsis for because this is the third book in a romantasy series. It's the Bloodwing Academy series by Briar Bolin. This is The Wings That Bind, which releases on March 10th. I have not read any books in this series yet. I'm planning to, but I really want the series to be over. I'm not sure if this is the last book. I don't think this is the last book. I'm not going to read the synopsis because I don't want to spoil it for myself either. Moving on, we have Love Song by Elle Kennedy, which comes out on March 17th. A Briar Universe standalone romance featuring the next generation of off-campus characters where one unforgettable summer changes everything. After a brutal breakup, college junior Blake Logan escapes to her family's lake house in Tahoe, determined to shut out the world. Her plan is simple: no men, no drama. Until Wyatt Graham shows up. 4 years older and far too good at getting under her skin, Wyatt is the living embodiment of a bad idea, and the guy who shattered her pride when she confessed her crush at 16. With his music career stalled, Wyatt has come to Tahoe for inspiration. The last thing he expects is to find it with Blake. He's spent years keeping his distance, convinced he's all wrong for her, but she's no longer the innocent girl he once knew. She's confident, captivating, and impossible to ignore. In the slow-burning tension between them, it's catching fire fast. They both know this can't last, but one reckless kiss turns into another, and soon they're tangled in something that feels dangerously like more. Just as they finally give in to the pull, tragedy tears them apart, leaving their hearts in pieces. Can't wait, can't wait, can't wait. But forgetting that one nearly perfect summer, not a chance. But when fate brings them together again, Blake and Wyatt must decide if this is the second chance or the final verse. Tragedy tears them apart! Yay! Okay. Moving on. We have No Matter What by Cara Bastone comes out on March 3rd. I really tried to put these in order and I did a horrible job. I'm sorry. Sometimes love sends you back to the drawing board. After a traumatic accident threatens the foundations of their happy marriage, a couple tries to rebuild and find their way back to each other and themselves in this tender, slow burn romance by the best-selling author of Ready or Not and Promise Me Sunshine, both of which I loved. Roz and Vin can't look each other in the eyes anymore, let alone share a bed. It's been a year since they survived a life-altering accident and their marriage hasn't been the same. But Roz has held out hope that they can fix things until she discovers Vin has signed a new lease. So she does what any soon-to-be divorced Manhattanite would do. Sign up for a figure drawing class. Between Roz's determined attempts to improve her artistic skills and her adventures with her best friend Rafi, she can almost ignore Vin's impending move out date and his footsteps in their previously unoccupied guest room. But it would all be a lot easier if Vin wasn't Rafi's older brother and if she still didn't find him incredibly, debilitatingly attractive and kind. So kind, in fact, that Vin offers to let Roz draw him. What is she supposed to say? It's probably better than her original plan of finding some random male model online, and she needs all the practice she can get. Plus, that's sure to make the separation easier, right? Focus on every detail of your estranged spouse's body while drawing him in the nude. But after the year they've spent avoiding each other, it feels good to see and be seen by one another again. As Roz works to capture the wholeness of a person she fell in love with, will they both be able to draw upon the feelings they buried deep inside to finally heal together? Hell yeah, they will. This one I do not know what it's about yet. I will find out with you. But this is Game On by Nevessa Allen. It's coming out on March 31st, and it's the third book in the Into Darkness series. I loved Lights Out, just like everybody else. I did not love Caught Up, just like everybody else. I hate that woman. Tyler Newman has spent years looking for his father, and not because... I think I really like Tyler. And not because he wants to meet the man. No, he wants to destroy him, and he'll manipulate whoever he can to exact his revenge, including Stella McCormick. She's everything Tyler hates. Her wealth and privilege have protected her for her entire life, and Tyler thinks it's time she finally paid the price, whether she's ready to or not. I hate that man. Stella might not believe in love at first sight, but loathing at first sight, no question. From the moment she sets eyes on Tyler in her tattoo parlor, she knows he's the devil planning to make her life hell. Forced to play the part of his girlfriend and invite him into her family's glittering circles, Stella quickly clocks Tyler's ulterior motives. But love and hate are two sides of the same coin, and soon she doesn't know which is worse. Being blackmailed by a man who wants to ruin her, or that they can't seem to keep their hands off of each other. This is an enemies to lovers dark romance with morally gray characters. Some themes and scenes may be disturbing to readers. Please check the content warning at the beginning of the book. I will not be checking that. I will be skipping that, but it sounds pretty good. Next we have Unbound by Peyton Corinne. I think I've spoken about this book already, but this cover is just stunning. I can't get over it. This comes out on April 7th. And this is the third book in the Undone series. So it's Unsteady, Unloved, Unbound, I think. I read both Unsteady, and I have Unsteady somewhere back here behind me. Paloma Blake is at best antagonistic, but beneath the hairspray attitude and promiscuity is a scared girl whose trauma runs deep. Still, the walls she built are strong, ensuring everyone only sees Paloma's sexy facade. Everyone except for Bennett. Bennett Rayner, the carefully controlled neurodivergent goalie, has his routines and sticks to them, which helps him keep a hold of his OCD compulsions and crippling anxiety that comes with them. The quiet and meticulous Bennett sees everything, especially the girl beneath Paloma's ever-present masks, and he always has. Unbeknownst to their friends, Bennett and Paloma were each other's first real love, which ended in crippling heartbreak. Can't wait for that either. Bennett still doesn't know what happened, and Paloma is determined to stay away from the comfort she used to find only in his arms. For years, Bennett has remained her protective shadow, coming to Paloma's rescue whenever she asked, keeping her as close and as safe as she'll let him. But like a tumultuous sea to a constant shore, Bennett and Paloma find each other once more. Alternating between scenes from their past and present, love that. Unbound contrasts the tentative tension and passionate beginnings of first love with the devastating loneliness and deep yearning of having that love ripped away from you without truly knowing why. As Bennett discovers the truth about Paloma's past, the threads to his careful control start to come unbound, and both begin to realize that letting go of everything else might be worth it if it means they both get the real love they once shared again. I can't wait. I love sobbing over books. Next we have The Night We Met by Abby Jimenez. This is the second book in the Say You'll Remember Me series. And Say You'll Remember Me I have here somewhere, right here. And she is heavily tabbed. Loved it. Read it with my eyes, flew through it. This is a really short synopsis. In everyone's life, there's a split-second decision that can change everything. For Larissa, it came when choosing who to ride home with after a concert. That night, she had no idea she'd met the perfect man. She and Chris are great friends, co-parenting a slightly unhinged rescue Yorkie, sharing their favorite books, and judging bread, pumpernickel for the win. For the first time amid all her side hustles to scrape by, things finally feel easy. But she didn't choose Chris to drive her home all those months ago. She went with his best friend, and he became her boyfriend. All Chris wants is for Larissa to be happy. Standing by on the sidelines is slowly killing him, but making a move would destroy someone else. How can something that feels so right be absolutely impossible? We love a good yearning, and that's so gonna be yearning. Next, we have Our Perfect Storm by Carly Fortune, coming out on May 5th. Frankie and George have been best friends since they were 8 years old, both passionate, impulsive, and headstrong. They've always clashed and come back together. Until now. It's the eve of Frankie's wedding weekend, and she doesn't know where they stand or even if George will show up as her best man. Then, at the start of the festivities, in walks George. Well, for one glorious evening, surrounded by her loved ones, Frankie's life is finally perfect. But it all comes crashing down when her fiancé dumps her the next morning, leaving only a note as an explanation. I would die, sorry. Crushed and confused, Frankie returns to her family's home to wallow. But George has a different idea and plan for healing Frankie's broken heart. He wants her to go on her honeymoon, with him. For 1 week, to the lush rainforests and misty beaches of Tofino. Frankie agrees, seeing the trip for what it really is, one last chance to repair their friendship. Even if it means unearthing secrets and long-buried feelings neither knows how to handle. Even if it means falling apart for good. This is gonna be so good! Oh god. It's gonna be such a good reading here, I can't believe it. Next we have Fever Dream by Elsie Silver, coming out on May 19th. Professional bull rider Emmett Bush is not looking for love. He's looking for a paycheck to save his family's farm from bankruptcy. So when he agrees to be the leading man on a hot new reality dating show, Romance Ranch, he's already decided it's all one big performance. Until Julia Silva walks onto his property. Smart, snarky, beautiful, and off-limits in more ways than one. As the location consultant on set and the little sister of his most bitter professional rival, she's the last woman who should pique his interest. Julia has been warned about Emmett. She knows better than to fall for his cocky swagger, broad shoulders, and smoldering good looks. Plus, she's sworn off relationships. But as Julia and Emmett work together, mutual distaste grows into an unexpected connection and then something more. Soon they find themselves searching for excuses to spend time together and out of reach of the cameras. Knowing glances, stolen kisses, secret rendezvous. Still, Emmett signed up to play the role of an eligible bachelor searching for the one. His family's land and legacy depend on him completing the show. The problem is, he's already fallen in love. Just not with a contestant. Can't wait, can't wait, can't wait, can't wait. Okay, this one I'm not going to read the synopsis for either to you or to me. It's the second book in the Wolves of Ruin series by Sable Sorensen. It's Furybound, which comes out on May 5th. I really love Direbound. Like a lot. Okay, next we have Lightwielder, which is another one I'm not reading the synopsis for. This is the second book in the Fire and Metal series. The first book was Metal Slinger by Rachel Schneider. And this one comes out on June 9th. Another one I want to wait for the whole series to be over. Okay, this one I will read you. Lost and Found by Tara DeWitt. This is the third book in the Spoon series. I read Left of Forever, which was her most recent book in this series. I did not read Savor It yet, but I'm going to read that soon because Left of Forever is everything to me. So I think I really click with her writing. But this is book 3, Lost and Found. Bee always wanted to be a mom, but she never expected she'd have to lose her best friend to do it. Armed with nothing but her best friend's eggs and a bucket list to complete, Bee's world is a sea of changes. When Silas steps in to give her a place to live when she needs it, Bee is half relieved she has a longtime friend in her corner. A firefighter living in the wake of an accident. Silas has his own challenges to work through that have left him cautious and vulnerable in equal measure. At first, they expect nothing, but as these two former sunshines knit together in a love that has been unfulfilled until now, a new beginning comes out of ashes of the past. One that will lead to a love that can withstand all the slings and arrows, joys, and triumphs that life can throw. I love pain. Next we have Embrace by Ball Cabra, and I love this woman. It comes out on August 4th, which is so far away. Kian Ashita is all about parties, hockey, and living in the moment, but when he realizes he's headed to the NHL without his degree, his late dad's one wish for him, he's determined to make up those last few credits. Desperate for help, he joins a study group led by none other than Scarlett Kilner. She's as gorgeous as she is smart. Too bad he doesn't know yet that she's his coach's daughter. After making a reputation for herself, all Scarlett wants for her senior year is to prove she's more than her mistakes and graduate without tarnishing her well-respected father's name. But when Kian Ashita, one of her dad's star hockey players, joins her study group, things get complicated. As Scarlett helps Kian, their study sessions turn into something more. Stolen glances, lingering touches, and a connection neither of them expected. Kian has to decide what's more important, the dream he's worked for his whole life or the girl he never saw coming. Okay, we have Devour Me by Emily Rath coming out on August 4th as well. This is the first book in the Devour Me series. This is, I think, different than her usual. Dane the Devourer, I think his name is Dane, or Dain. Dane the Devourer has spent the last 200 years of his undead life reluctantly bonded to a dark witch, doing her dirtiest work. Devouring corrupt souls may not be satisfying for the Wraith, but it keeps him fed. Sent on a job to Burr Island, Dane is forced to devour the soul of a rival witch, but Jasper Prescott is no corrupt magical misfit. He's powerful and beautiful, with a soul worth savoring. Dane is eagerly devouring the witch when he's abruptly stopped, by a human no less. With one word, Bertie Rhodes does what no being has ever done. She takes his breath away. Now the witch, the wraith, and the human are set on a path that could lead to their destiny or to their ruin. Desperate for his freedom, Dane makes a deal with Jasper. Kill my mistress, and I'll let you keep living. But Jasper wants more than just to live. He has a coven to protect. Their secrets are being threatened by magical forces on and off the island. Bound together in this strange new deal, Jasper fights his growing attraction to the wraith, who is far more human than he appears, and Dane fights the urge to devour the delectable witch whole. The only one who can save them is Bertie Rhodes, hapless historian and sometimes shopgirl. Bertie only came to Burr Island for summer work. She has no idea magic is even real. She certainly has no idea she's now the only thing standing between her witch boss and the hungry wraith aching to devour them both. As magical forces of darkness loom at Burr Island's shores, Jasper and Dane are both determined to keep Bertie close and devour me. Book 1 in a dark, spicy paranormal romance trilogy. Okay, we have 2 more books. Next we have King of Gluttony by Anna Huang, releasing on April 28th. I haven't read a single book in this series. Planning on reading them all, but I have not gotten there yet. I'm planning on doing it in 2026, though. Maybe. I might want to wait until King of Lust is out. That's the last one, right? Okay. She's his greatest rival and his greatest weakness. Handsome, talented, and beloved by almost everyone, Sebastian Laurent is used to being on top. The heir to a culinary empire, his sharp instincts and effortless charm have made him a legend. What people don't see are the demons lurking beneath his golden boy facade. There's only one person who's come close to knowing the real him, Maya Singh, his childhood rival and secret obsession. She's also the only one who's ever successfully challenged him. He can't stand her, but if that's true, why can't he stop thinking about her? Smart, witty, and competitive to a fault, top marketing executive Maya Singh is used to winning, unless her opponent is Sebastian. It's something that's infuriated and motivated her entire life. So when a series of unfortunate events forces her to work with her sworn enemy, she's determined to one-up him and show the world who's best once and for all. What she didn't count on? Not hating their time together. To her horror, she might even like it. There may be a thin line between love and hate, but that's one line she'll never cross. Not with him, not ever. King of Gluttony is a steamy childhood rivals to lovers forced proximity billionaire romance. It's book 6, but can be read as a standalone. And last is Show Me You Remember by Hannah Cohen, coming out on March 31st. This is the second book in the Oak Point series. Ro. I'd convinced myself she was never coming back, not after I destroyed my life defending her and was left to live alone in the fallout. I made my peace with that years ago when I learned Tilly Whitman was gone for good. Yet here she is, standing in my barn again and brushing down my horses like the last decade of silence never happened. I shouldn't care that she's here or be thinking about what she'd written to me in that final letter, but every time she opens her mouth, it's like she's trying to pick a fight with the version of me that went to prison for something I'd do again in a heartbeat. She's here on my land with her boots planted, chin high, and curved nails pecking at old wounds, like she's trying to see if I'll bleed. And I will. I always did when it came to my best friend's sister. Tilly. I swore I was done with Oak Point, but when my life falls apart for the second time, I crawl back to the only place that might still want me. My home, the place I lost myself. Now I'm grooming horses at Painted Sky and trying not to rip the head off a man who's been pretending I don't exist since the day I showed up. Ro Carrigan, the cowboy who went to prison and came out angrier than the Bronx he rides. We were never together, not really, yet what happened between us left a scar I can't seem to stop touching. He thinks I'm trouble and he's right. Because the longer I stay, the harder it is to ignore the weight of the past or how badly I still want the one man I was never supposed to have. Oh my god, I'm so excited. Anyway, there are 2 other books that I wanted to mention. Let's see if I can remember them. Champagne Problems by Hannah Grace. We don't have a release date yet, but she did announce that, I think yesterday, so I'm a little early. There's no synopsis out anywhere. And then the other one is B.K. Borison did say that there's going to be another book coming out by her in the fall. There's no title, nothing. So. And again, it's December of 2025 right now. Who knows what, like, the second half of next year is going to hold. I'm excited. Because a lot of these are, like, March, April, a little bit of May. But the ones in August, like, that's kind of far out. So who knows what's going to come out. But I'm excited. Because even what I know, it's going to be great. So, anyway, that's all. I need to stop talking now. My throat and my mouth feel like a dry sock. But anyway, that's it for now. I am going to edit this, get it up, and then I think I'm just going to read for a little bit. I keep saying that and not reading. So, we'll see. But anyway, thank you for watching Vlogmas Day 8, and I will see you tomorrow.